So the yarn that I am using is this. It's the Lion Brand Mandala. This is the bonus bundle. It's the extra big one. It's 1181 yards. You can use the smaller ones if you want to. It'll just take 4 of them. I'm using 2 of this. If you want to make it longer at the bottom, you might want to grab a 3rd one of these, but I got by with 2. Now this calls for a 5mm hook. It is a size 3. It's a light yarn, so it's lighter than your typical worsted weight. I am using a 5.5mm hook. So we're going to take this, and it's actually almost the same exact as a granny square. Okay, so I'm going to start with a magic circle, like that, chain 2, and then I'm gonna do 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, so I have 1, 2, 3 posts, and then chain 2, 1, 2. So I'm going to do that same thing 5 more times. I will show you once more. 1 double, 2 double, 3 double, 3 posts, chain 2. Okay, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're just gonna pull this tight. Now, if you've done granny squares before, it's the same exact thing. There's just 6 sides instead of 4. But if you're not too familiar with them, I will go ahead and give a little more detail. So let's see, this one is 1, 2, 3. So I'm gonna go into this one. I'm going to slip stitch to finish the row, and then for every row you're going to do it the same way. You're going to slip 1, 2. That'll bring you to the first opening. Chain 2, that's your first post. 1, 2 doubles. Now on each corner you're going to chain 1, 2, and then put a second group of posts there. So 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, 3. Now when you're going across the sides, don't put any chains, only put chains between them on the corner. So go right into the next one. 1, 2, 3. So that's that side, chain 2 for the corner. 1, 2, 3. Across the side, straight into the next space. 1, 2, 3. And I'm on the corner, chain 2. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this row and then secure it at the end the same as I did with the first row. So I finished the second row with a slip stitch. I'm just going to do 1, 2 more slip stitches to get me to that first space. And this is the shape. And you can actually see even just on the second row, it's like floppy. You can tell there's too much fabric. So really all you're going to do from here is continue this shape for most sweaters. Let me see. You take a flat side, you fold it, and there is the shape of your sweater already. There's your sleeve and the body and the center, front or back. Now for most of the sweaters that are made like this, you continue on until the sleeve is the width you want, and then if you want them longer you can just add more rows after. But because this yarn is such a distinct gradient, I would really like to do the entire sleeve as part of the body. So if you're using solid colors or changing yarns for your rows or anything like that, you can go ahead and just do it till the sleeve is the width you want. But I'm going to show you one variation that I did to kind of slow the increase of the sleeve. And I always did this right after the increase when I did it. So only on this one side, I'm going to skip this center one. When the space is in the center of your side, we're gonna skip this one and go right to the next side. So just like this. So whereas these sides have 2 chunks on this side, on this row, and the next row will have 1, 2, 3 chunks, we're decreasing this so it stays at 2. And you're gonna do that every 3rd row. Every 3rd row you'll skip that center one. So the next 2 rows I'll go like normal and then do this and skip the center one again. So other than that, you just keep going the same way. So the rest of the row, chain 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. The rest of this row will be the same. You only do it on one, and this is where the sleeve is going to be. And then you just continue and continue and continue until this looks like this. I've got 2 pieces now, the same exact shape. So you can see this here is where the decrease is. So I have that positioned in the same spot on the sleeve. And because I did that the first section after the new row, I have the end of my yarn here. It's on the back corner of the top. And here it's on the front corner. And I did leave those, the yarn is still attached on both of those. And I did 30 total rows on both of them, obviously. So the next thing is going to be, we're going to take this. I am going to slip stitch a couple until I get right to the corner. And then I'm going to stitch this together. I'll work from the wrist to the shoulder. So you want to keep your working yarn down here. And the one that I'm grabbing is technically the back loop of this one and the back loop of this one. So grab the top like that and the bottom like that, and then pull the yarn through 1, 2, 3. And you can also check and make sure, like I messed this one up, because this is the 3rd of this section in the middle of this section. So I'll go back and fix that. Now right here at the edge, I'm going to make sure that my 1, 2, 3 up here at the top and my 1, 2, 3 at the bottom are lined up. So I'm going to continue back across until I get to the neck. Right, so I've got both of the top seams done. I came up, when I put them together like this, the neck hole actually looked a little big still, so I came up another section. So if you count the one at the corner, I have 10 stitches open still. So the 3 bunches is where I stopped on both sides. And then, so I think I'm ready. I will cut this end, this yarn, leave it long, secure it, weave in the ends. This one I'm going to take, I'm going to work across just the back one, and then I'm going to seam the back up to the bottom, and then I will cut the yarn, secure, and weave in the ends. So that's next. Cut that one, run that one, sew the back. So I've got the back all seamed together. I I don't know what happened here. I don't know if I grabbed the wrong loop, maybe. Grab the inside loop instead of the outside loop. It's fine. And I've got my yarn, nice and neat. So next, I believe, is the cuffs. Now there's 3 different ways that we could do this cuff. I have about 65 stitches all the way around, and we want the cuff to be about half of that. So the first way we can do, and the easiest, would be to start underneath, not at the top. This will be the back of your arm, so this will be most visible. Start down here, pick up your yarn, and just single crochet 1 row around where you stitch 2 together. So put these 2 together, these 2 together, these 2 together, all the way around. That would bring you down to half, and then continue single crocheting around until your cuff is however big you want, an inch or 2. That's probably the quickest and easiest and simplest way to do it. The second way that you could do it is to crochet a rib, a piece of ribbing, and then sew that on. And again, you would want to do half as many stitches, and then when you sewed it on, put 2 of these together the whole way. The third way, what I'm going to do is I'm going to knit a ribbing and sew it on. Let's see what I say, 65. So I want to do about 32. I'm going to knit a ribbing of 32, and then I will sew that on, and I will show you how I do that one, because that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make 1 cuff out of the center of each of these to match the sleeves. We'll start with this one. I used a 5.5mm hook for the main part of the sweater, and whenever you're making a cuff, whether it's knit or crochet, you always want to use a smaller size hook or needles. So I'm using the double points, and these are a size 7. So we're going to use the center pull, and it's going to be a long tail cast on. I'm going to cast on 33, and that is because the rib I'm going to do is going to be knit 2, purl 1, so I need a multiple of 3. Alright, so I'm ready to connect. Whenever I knit in the round, I like to switch this one and this one, and it just kind of makes the connect look a little bit nicer, I think. There we go. Let's see, get our tail in here. And now, like I said, I'm just going to knit 2, purl 1, all the way around. Here's my first cuff. I did 10 total rows. So the long tail cast on counts as the first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I think the easiest way to do this will be to crochet 1 row of single crochet around, and then I will seam this piece with the sleeve the same as I did the other seams. So I'm gonna do a little slip stitch here. It's ready to attach. So how we're gonna do this is go through 1, 2 of the sleeve, and then I actually think I'm gonna go through both the front and the back loop of the cuff just to really attach it well. So 1, 2 for the top, 2 stitches, front and back loop of the cuff, and then pull the yarn through everything. Okay, so I just double counted my stitches to make sure everything lined up, and I had extra stitches on the top. So I must have miscounted somewhere. So I'm gonna alternate between putting 2 from the top to 1 on the bottom, and then the next stitch I'll put 3 on the top to 1 on the bottom until the numbers are back where they're supposed to be. And I am cinching these up a little bit to keep it really nice and snug. So I've reached the end, picked up all the top and all the bottom. I'm gonna trim this, a little bit of extra. Go around the next stitch, and then back in through this. To hide it like that. Then I will run this to the inside and secure it and weave in the ends. So that's one sleeve cuff. Do the same thing for the other side. So that is both cuffs are done. So the next, I've decided that I am going to close up the front of this. You don't have to if you don't want to. You would just work the cuff back and forth. So I'm going to attach the yarn down here, and I'm going to seam this the same way I did the back, almost to the top. I don't want to go quite all the way because I do want that to be open a little bit at the neck. Alright, so I got the front all done here. Now we're going to do the bottom cuff. Now again, the easiest way to do this, I would just pick up on the back here at the seam where you can hide it better and just single crochet around and around and around, because where this was done with a double crochet, these are looser, more loose than a single crochet web. So if you single stitch around, that will snug it in slightly. You don't want to close it up too much, just enough to kind of give that bit of shape to it. Or what I am going to do is, I've counted these, I have 182 stitches all the way around. So I'm going to do a cuff the same way as I did the wrist cuffs. So I'm going to long tail cast on 182, that's what I have. I'll do 10 rows, and then I will attach it the same way that I did the cuffs. So I added just a very simple pocket, and you can see that it turned out all sorts of funky because I'm losing steam and I'm ready to be done this. So I just made a granny square, the same as I started these, only with 4 sections, not 6. I made it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows long, and then I left the top open and I just stitched it around these 3 sides using the same method that I did for the seams. So for the neck piece, I kept it really simple. I picked up one side of the front opening, single crocheted up to the top, and then I single crocheted across the top 3 times, and then back down the other side.